I've always questioned the value of the strategy of prevent defense. Usually in a football game, when the team is winning, they decide to shift their defense into prevent in order to not give up the long score and allow them to gain a few yards. But often, so often, more often than not, when you play prevent defense, the mindset shifts and you become very passive and stagnate. And what I found is that more often than not, a lot of bad things happen to the team as a result of just trying to play prevent defense. It's almost similar to Argentina in the World Cup. Their goal in the finals was just not to allow the other team to score. They weren't on the offensive side. They did nothing. They had no shots on goal. They were just trying to prevent the other team from scoring. It worked for a while, but eventually they gave up the goal and lost the World Cup. I say this because of the dangers of stagnation, of just trying to play defense to prevent and not go on the offense. Noach, we're told, was mikatnei amana. He was someone, the Chazal tell us, who was lacking faith. Noach lacking faith. Ish tzadik tamim haya b'dorosav. He was a tzadik, he was a tamim. And we're going to call Noach someone who was lacking emunah. Chazal say because Noach waited until the waters rose to enter into the teva, that's why he was lacking emunah. He should have jumped into the teva early, but he waited to see if the water was actually going to rise. What exactly is this all about? Why would Noach even think that tzaddik? Why would Noach the tzaddik even think to wait, have questions of emunah? Perhaps, says Rav Shimshon Pincus, Noach believed in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but Noach also believed in the Rachmanas of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. To the very last second, Noach believed that HaKadosh Baruch Hu was going to call it off. All these years of building the teva, he was going to do it anyways. He did it b'simcha. This is what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted him to do. But he figured, when push comes to shove, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is someone who is gomel chesed, full of Rachmanas. There would be no flood, so he waited. But Noach's error was that he just played prevent defense. He just waited and waited and waited, hoping for the situation to change, for the situation to turn. Mordechai HaYehudi, on the other hand, was very different. When the decree came out that the Jewish people were going to be wiped out, or the permission was given to destroy the Jewish people, Mordechai didn't wait. He didn't just sit back and say, I know HaKadosh Baruch Hu made this promise to Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. We're going to be fine. We're never going to be wiped out. Nothing to worry about. We're good. No, Mordechai went to the center of town. Vayizak za'aka gedola umara. He cried out. He let out a big scream. He said, this is not okay. We need to fast. We need to change. We need to do Yemei Tefillah. Mordechai, unlike Noach, took initiative. Mordechai didn't go on prevent defense. He didn't just wait for HaKadosh Baruch Hu to change things, but he went on the offense and said, let's make a difference. Let's work on it ourselves, and let's be me'orer shamayim. Let's storm the heavens and get things back to where they should be. And ultimately, he was successful. For each and every one of us, as we're approaching Tisha B'Av, we have this feeling, this sadness that overcomes us because of the destruction of the Beis HaMikdash and all the other tragedies that we have endured over our generations, and even a lot of what's happening nowadays. We feel an extra sense of churban, of destruction, of sadness, of unknown. But at the same time, we also feel like Kadosh Baruch Hu promised us Eretz Yisrael, promised us that we will endure forever. So many just hear a lot of the noise and the hate and just sit back and say, look, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to take care of it. I'm just going to do my thing, put my head down and not worry about it. That's the Noach type of mentality. Noach mekatnei amana haya. He was considered someone who was lacking emunah. He was a big tzaddik, but all he wanted to do was just play defense, just sit back and wait. Im kol zeh achakelo. But Mordechai teaches us that even with all the promises, we don't just sit back and watch as things unfold. We're not just spectators, we're participants. we get out there, we make a difference. Tisha B'Av reminds us the importance of being proactive in how we respond to things, and the importance of standing up for Eretz Yisrael, standing up for Yiddishkeit, standing up for Am Yisrael and Klal Yisrael. That is our responsibility, and we know from the pasuk in Yeshaya, Bi'ito Achishena, that on the one hand, Kadosh Baruch Hu says, I am going to hasten Mashiach in its time. Bi'ito Achishena. What does that mean? How do you hasten it in its time? And the Gemara says, if you're Zoche, Achishena. If you're not Zoche, then Bi'ito, it'll be just in its time. If you play prevent defense, you just wait, you kind of resign for just whatever Kadosh Baruch Hu wants, then Bi'ito. It'll happen, but it's going to take a long time. Mekatnei amana. But if you get out into the field, if you put on those cleats and start making a difference, then Achishena, I will come sooner. May we all get the koach to stand up for one another, for Am Yisrael, for Eretz Yisrael, and may we be zoche on this Tisha B'Av, that it be the last one, and one filled with not just tears of sadness, but tears of joy, because we have taken this opportunity to make a difference in our lives and the lives of others, to ensure that as we go on the offense, that Am Yisrael will be thriving, secure, and safe for many generations to come. Have a wonderful Shabbos.